Hey guys, this is Dylan at AM Solar, and today I'm going to teach you how to use a Daystar meter. A Daystar meter is an insulation meter that is useful if you are wanting to test your solar production. Solar is not as predictable as plugging into shore power, so depending on where you're at geographically and the weather and the time of day, it's hard to tell what you should be seeing. So that's where this thing comes in and is oftentimes pretty helpful. Before we get into this, one thing to take into consideration is your panels are never going to produce what they're rated for. So if you bought a 100 watt panel, that panel's never going to actually produce 100 watts. It will get very close to 100 watts in perfect conditions. So expect to see a little bit of loss. Also, expect to see some voltage loss in general. Our kits, we aim to keep them as close to 3% line loss if possible. So you'll see anywhere from 3% to 8% line loss, depending on how your rig is wired up. And on some rigs, you might even see even more than that if it's the wires are too small or they're very long. So do take that into consideration and do your research on how to figure out your line loss for your rig. But this is how you use the Daystar meter. There's only one on-off switch on it, so you'll turn it on. And on your roof of your RV, you want to mimic the angle that your RVs are getting the sun. So if your if your panels are angled towards this way, try to mimic it and angle it this way. Just try to mimic it the best you can. And when you get a good reading, your Daystar meter is going to produce 3 digits. So right now where we are standing, it's 325. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up the total wattage on my roof. So let's say I had 1,000 watts on my roof. I pull this out, I get my reading, 325. And what I'm going to do is multiply my total wattage times this value expressed as a decimal. So I would take 1,000 watts times 0.325, and that should give me what I would see under perfect conditions. You'll need to account for the line loss in your rig. So it's not always going to be perfect, but it will give you a ballpark of what you should see. And that's how you use the Daystar meter.